Hi, good evening, everybody. I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome back to the reading practice sessions, and a very happy rainy day to all of you. Let's begin the practice today. Raining badly, but it's okay. Rain is good, so let's begin then. Here is our test, and here we get the first question. Less than 2.5 minutes. Post your answers in the chat box and we will have a discussion. All right, should be done. Good attempt, good neat, but I want you to reduce the time that you are taking to solve. And for us, you as well. Reduce the time, guys. You're taking a lot of time. We should be the first ones to answer. So this says, In the parks of post-Renaissance times, there were extensive woods rectilinear stretching between one vintage point and another, raised galleries. Later, the concept of the public park was somewhat domesticated, an area dashed simply to green landscape, an attractive breathing space as a relief. So an area, they said that earlier it was something else, and then later it was more domesticated, an area dash to green landscape given to, so it's a land. Do we give it to anybody? Do we give land? We can give land for something. We can say this land was given for charity, given in charity, that is given. Given to green landscape is not a thing to which we can give the land. It can be only devoted to. Devoted means particularly keeping that area reserved for something that is devoted to. So an area devoted to green landscape, an attractive breathing space as a relief dash densely populated city. So it was a relief. What is the word that we use with relief always is like Panadol gives us relief from headache. You must have heard the word instant relief from pain. So with the word relief, we use the word relief from. Then the design was generally romantic in character. The primary purpose was to provide for passive recreation, walking and taking the air in agreeable surroundings. And then they say, what primarily dash modern parks is their accommodation for active recreation? And the new paragraph has started from here. So we should read ahead that what is the paragraph about? Park areas differ dash from country to country. So they are talking about what are the differences in parks. What primarily dash modern parks is their accommodation. So this is a general fact that we are giving about modern parks. So, and facts are always in simple present tenses. So what primarily differentiates is present tense, simple present tense, was is past, had is past, and has been is past, present perfect. And we don't need that because facts are always in simple present tense. Then they say park areas differ from country to country. The sentence was complete even without the blank. So we look at there is a verb, and if there is a blank after the verb, we'll go for adverb in that case. So how much difference is there? Park areas differ dash. Mostly, maximum, we need ly. Adverbs are the words with ly. Acutely means severely. Acute pain, severe pain means too much. Considerably and mostly we discussed in last week as well, when mostly means out of 100 more than 50%, that is most, 60%, 70%. How do we know that how much area differs, like 50% area is different or 70% area is different? But we can definitely say that the areas differ considerably. Considerable means there are big lot of changes, not small, there are big changes there. So park areas differ considerably from country to country, and their designs reflect differences in climate, cultural dash, social habits, and pastimes. So their designs means designs of the park. They reflect differences in climate. So based on different climate, the design of the park is made differently. It is also due to cultural dash. So cultural entities. Entities means organizations. Can a design of the park depend upon cultural organization? And there's no cultural organization. Actually, organization would be like business or something like that. Entity, business entity. That's how we use the word entity. Cultural is already an adjective, so we won't put emotional because cultural, emotional, both would be adjectives. Attitudes is a noun. Cultural belief, no, the thing is cultural beliefs. If you want to put beliefs, that is BELIEFS is the beliefs that come with cultural. So it will be cultural attitudes. Now, what is the meaning of cultural attitudes? Just to make it more understandable, is how every different culture perceives parks, the importance of parks. Like, do people like going there? The young people, the old people, what are the things they like to do there? So according to those, keeping those things in mind, they design the park. Like maybe like in here, if we talk about Australia, so people like gymming. So if you see most of the parks, they have gym equipments there. So that is cultural attitudes. What is the attitude of a particular culture or society towards park? And based on that, they make the design, right? So these are the answers. The first one, devoted to, is specifically allocated for this purpose. Second, relief always comes with from, relief from something. Third, they were talking about differentiation, and what they mentioned is a fact. What differentiates modern parks is their accommodation. So it will be simple present tense. Then the sentence was complete. So we needed an adverb with ly. We don't know 70% of the park is same or 80% of the park is different. So we cannot go with mostly. We'll go with considerably. Considerable means big difference. There are differences. Cultural attitudes, as I gave the example, it depends upon what is the attitude of people living in a particular culture. And based on that, they design the park. Right? Any confusions, anyone? Can please ask. Entities, Jagmeet, is organizations. So cultural organizations, what can they do in the design of the park? So they won't really have to do anything in design of the park. Organizations won't affect it. It is like what kind of people live, what do they like, what do they don't like. So based on that, they design the park. Right? Anybody else, any confusion? All good? Thank you. And here you go with your second question. You have 2 minutes, maximum 2.5. Please note the time that you are taking and put your answers and be quick. Is it to be had been used in warfare used uranium? We discussed, we generally say that whenever we say been, that means something has happened continuously is the only time which when we use the word been. Has been means till now, from last time. Had been means in last time, for a long period of time. That's the only use of been and nothing else. So do you think the first atomic bomb was continuously used in warfare used uranium is the sense that they want to say here? No, they said the first atomic bomb dash in warfare used uranium and it was dropped by. So it is past tense. So definitely it's not will be used. Sorry. It cannot be will be because it was done in the past. Using not possible. Had been. It's nothing continuous. They just mentioned about one incident, one situation when it was used for the first time. It cannot be a continuous, like they kept on dropping bombs every single day. So it will be the first atomic bomb to be used in warfare. Like the first bomb which was used in warfare, it was made of uranium or it contained uranium. So to be used in warfare used uranium. It was dropped by the US on Hiroshima, Japan on this date. The explosion, which had the force of dash 15,000 tons. So what we have is force of 15,000 tons. It's complete sentence, but still we have a blank. Can we say extra? Had the force of extra. No, more than 15,000 makes sense. Higher is second form of verb which is used when you have than. When we make a comparison is only when we use er, second form of verb. And beyond cannot be used for quantity things. It's like beyond this level or beyond the universe in that sense. But for numerical figures, it's better to say more than 15,000 tons instantly and completely devastated these many square meters of the heart of this city, of these many inhabitants. Of this number, some 70,000 were killed, and by the end of the year, the death toll was 1 lakh. So 70,000 were killed speedily, closely, directly, immediately, and all of you are correct because they wanted to highlight the time that immediately it killed 70,000 and then by the end of the year, the death toll dash 1 lakh. Surpasses is present tense, but the situation is of the past. Could surpass is again possibility. We are not, this is not going to happen. This has already happened. And if we say the death toll was surpassed, then we need by in that case. That will mean death toll was surpassed by someone or by something, but its death toll had surpassed. And also, whenever we have by written with the time period, by this time, we always use past perfect after that. By 1980, this had happened. Always with by, with time, we use past perfect, had something, had and third form. More than 67% of the city's structure were destroyed or damaged. The next atomic bomb to be exploded. So this was the hint Mother was talking about, that I got the hint from the passage, from the writing style that they are using. So they talked about the first to be used was this, next to be exploded. So same writing style. Was of the plutonium type, so the second type. It was dashed on Nagasaki on August 9. So it was dropped on, and this hint we can get from here. It was dropped on. Any questions, anybody? Please do ask. Any doubts? Good, Jagmeet. I saw you also choosing to be very good, very thoughtful. So Preetham, we can say the next, sorry, what was it? It was exploded. Won't say exploded on because it did not explode it on Nagasaki. They just dropped it and it exploded after reaching there. So we cannot say that we exploded the bomb. We will just drop the bomb because we are not exploding it. Fourth one, whenever you have some time written with by, like by the end of the century, by 1980, you always use past perfect, sorry, past perfect tense, like had plus third form, because this thing had happened in the past. So since now here we have by the end of the year, you have by with the time period, so you should go with had plus third form always. Is it okay, Ben? Anybody else, any confusions? All right. No worries. So here we see the next question, number 3. 2 minutes, please post your answers and be careful about time. Done. Anybody left to post the answer? Benita, make sure you're checking singular plural before you're writing your answers. So this says, in a new study published, scientists at this university in Belgium and this institute were able to identify more than 300 genes that dash in the genome of the water flea. So genes is plural, so we need a verb without s. That is the first thing you should be looking at when you're selecting your answers. Basic grammar is the first thing we always have to check. Genes is plural, so we cannot have the answer differs. It's with s, extends, it is with s. So we are left with two things. Genes that range, but when we use the word range, we say range from this to this. Always range has one starting and one ending point. That is how we use the word range. So what are we left with this? Only vary, because with range, it has to be from and to given. These genes which dash for about 3% of all water flea genes. So these genes which, again, genes is plural, so we cannot put allows and we cannot put gives up. What are we left with is make for or account for. Now genes cannot make things, and account for is a collocation. When we have a numerical percentage given, we use the word account for this much percentage, right? So it will be account for. Underpin changes in behavioral and life history traits that improve survival dash exposed to predators. So it improves survival when exposed to while. So with while, you always have ing, like I watched the episode while having dinner. So while is used with continuous form of verb, and here we don't have exposing. It will be while exposing to, then we use while in that sense. During comes with when you have a time period. Here we don't have a time period, we have a situation. Meanwhile happens when two things are happening at the same time, then we use meanwhile. So what are we left with is when, because it's just a one time thing that they have mentioned, that it improves survival when exposed to predators. Strikingly, evolution in response to predation pressure occurs just a few generations. There is no inside and outside of generations. This inside and outside we use with places. Throughout is also during a time period. That means throughout the world, like all over the world. Throughout the century means the whole time during the century. That is the use of throughout. From just a few generations, can we say evolution occurs from a few generations? That is contextually wrong, because evolution does not happen from generations. Evolution happens in generations. So it will be within, means few generations. In, within will be like in of 1, 2, 3, 4 generations. They keep on evolving one after the other, means the next generation is always better than the previous one. So that is evolving. Then they say it is mediated by so-called standing genetic variation. The amount of this is by natural population. The research brings to the dash of science the importance of standing genetic diversity. The research brings to the dash of science, brings to the face, lead or led, beforehand, forefront. So it will be brings to the forefront. Forefront means right in the center, means it highlights how important this thing is. Then we say forefront means it highlights this thing particularly, or mainly this thing is highlighted. So this research mainly highlighted the importance of standing genetic diversity, and we will say this in a way, this research brings to the forefront. It also highlights, see this is, it also highlights means the previous sentence also wanted to say highlight only. So this was a good hint to understand the meaning of brings to the forefront. It also highlights that reducing the genetic diversity of natural populations has important consequences dash their ability to adapt to environmental change. So something has important consequences dash their ability. Consequences in the ability, with the ability, to the ability, or for. We generally say consequences of something, but we don't have of here because these are not the consequences. What are the consequences of or consequences can be for someone. Like we said, this can have really bad consequences for the people living in the area. So consequences for comes here, because we cannot have negative results in somebody's ability or with somebody's ability or to ability, but for somebody's ability something can be negative, right? So the first one is based on grammar, that we don't need s form of verb because the noun is plural, and out of the remaining ones, range comes when you have from and to written, which we don't have here, so we'll go with vary. The second one also based on grammar, jeans is plural, so we are left with account and make. Jeans cannot make anything, and account for is a collocation which is used with numerical figure in percentage particularly. And while is used with ing form of verb, so we'll go with when they are exposed to predators, the survival improves. Brings to the forefront, kind of a phrase you can say, because brings to the forefront is used together, which means that highlights something. And last one, consequences for someone or for something. Any questions, please do ask. Inside, Preetham, is like, do you have, can you say that inside this generation? Inside will be inside the building, inside the hall. Generation of one like one generation of people inside of the generation and outside. Doesn't make sense. They use with places. So it's, see, if there are two or three words which mean the same, exactly the same, then why was there a need of having three words? It's because one word cannot, it can be used in one particular perspective and the other word is used in a different perspective. That's why there are two words meaning the same. So whenever you have synonyms, you always have to check that what context that particular word is used, like for non-living things, for living things, for buildings, for places, for people, for plants. So this is also a basis on which you have to select your answers, right? First blank, so jeans is plural. So you need a verb without S. Extends is eliminated, differs is eliminated. And if the answer would have been range, it will say range from this to this. So we don't have from and to here. So that's why it will be vary, means differ. Vary means differ. And the last one is we can have consequences. Let's say tsunami can have devastating consequences for the people living in coastal areas. So either we have consequences of something or we have consequences for something. Otherwise, we don't have consequences in, with, or to something. Okay. Hina, is it fine with the first one? Can we make sentence for third one? Because I did this way, for example, I thought. Yes, yes, Jagmeet, it's fine. See, otherwise also elimination also works, but yes, this is also fine. All right, let's move ahead then. Question number 4 and 2.5 minutes maximum. Kamalvi, do we use small and big for population density, or population even? The major dash of the United States is probably its great variety. So the first thing you should mark in this sentence is. That means your answer has to be singular. See, these are the things that we generally don't do, and that is when we make mistakes, or that is when because sometimes what they do is they give the words which very easily go with the word written before and written after the blank, but the twist comes in singular plural, which is later on in, like is, am, are comes very later on in the sentence, and we miss that. Please keep that in mind. The major dash of the United States is. That means the answer has to be singular. So it will be characteristic, because the blank is before of. That means we have to select a noun. And if you look at the options, particular is not a noun. Custom can be a noun, but great variety is not custom. Great variety can be a feature of a country. So it will be characteristic. The major characteristic of the United States is its great diversity, its physical environment, ranges. Now, this is how I was telling you the word range or ranges is used. With ranges, you always have from and to written. That's the way the word ranges is used. Then they say, although the total population of the United States is large by world standards, its overall population density is relatively dash. Whenever a sentence starts with although, there will always be a comma in that sentence, and the two parts before and after the comma will be opposites of each other. The first part said that it is large. The population is large by world standards. Its overall population density is relatively low. What form of verb have they used? Did they say larger? No, now they haven't used the second form of verb. Then why are we going for second form of verb? Smaller? Not possible. Bigger, as I said, the sentence has to be opposite. Larger and bigger are on the same side. They are not opposite. And third forms, least, cannot come without the. With third forms of verbs, you always have the written before them. So it will be the population according to world standards is large, but relatively it is low. The country embraces some of the world's largest urban concentrations, as well as some of the most extensive areas that are almost dash of habitation. So some areas which are devoid of habitation, devoid of means that thing is not there. Lacking of, unsure of, or vacant of. Vacant does not go with of. We say that this land is vacant, means it's empty, there's nothing there. The areas cannot be unsure. Human beings can be unsure, non-living things cannot be sure or unsure. Areas lack and devoid mostly mean the same, but devoid is a better way of saying lack, so we'll go with devoid of. So those areas are almost devoid of, means they don't have any kind of habitation, means no kind of people are living there. The United States contains a highly diverse population, dash a country such as China that largely incorporated indigenous people. The United States has a diversity that to a great degree. Whenever your first word is a blank, always read the sentence till a full stop. So we start with dash a country like China. It has indigenous people. There's a second part to it. The United States has diversity. Indigenous people means people of the same country. That's opposite of diversity. So we have opposites given. So can we say different from a country, or unlike, far than, apart from? So apart from is not when you use opposite things, it is unlike. So unlike is not like China, it has diverse people. So China has same people, and that's why it is not like China. United States has diverse people. Diversity that to a great degree has come from and dash and sustained global immigration. So with and, we have three options. From an extremely and sustained. So if this would have been ly, only then we will look for ly here. We need same type of words before and after. And illimitable. So even if we don't know the word, let's just guess it. Limitable means in limit. So illimitable will be unlimited. So can we say unlimited and sustained global immigration, or immense and sustained? Better is saying immense, because unlimited can be in a negative way also, like more than crossing the limit, that is also unlimited. So we'll better go with immense, means lot of, immense and sustained global immigration. So sustained also tells us that it's managed maybe. So that's how it will be, an immense and sustained global immigration. Go through it once again. First one, characteristic, because we needed a singular noun. Custom cannot come because custom is great variety, is not a custom. Particular is not a noun. Second, they use first form of verb, so we also have to go with first form of verb. The sentence started with although, so it has to be opposite. The first one is large, so we selected low here to show the contrast. Devoid of and lacking can be same. um, like Kamalveer, as you're asking, are almost lacking of habitation, makes sense. Here lacking won't be, if we use lacking, it won't be noun. That's not the blank where we have to put noun, but we have to complete the sentence here, basically that these areas are lacking of plants. So these, generally we'll say these areas lack plants. That's the way we'll use the word lack, and that's why lacking is not here. But just to tell you, the meaning of devoid is also something not there. So devoid of is a collocation. Like I said, this country is devoid of resources. That means they don't have resources there. That is devoid of. So this of was a part of collocation, not like we say that if we have a blank before of, we should put a noun. That's a different way. This devoid of is because you need to put a collocation thing, right? Then next sentence, it had two parts. The parts were opposite. Like China has indigenous people, but US has diverse people. So it says unlike China means not like China, which has indigenous people. The opposite is US has diverse people. And the last one, immense and sustained global immigration. No, Akash, immense is used as an adjective here because global immigration is the noun. So what kind of global immigration it was? It is immense and sustained. Even sustained is not used as a verb here. It's an adjective. What kind of global immigration it is? Got it? Any other questions? So you always check what is written after the blank or after the words, because some words, yes, they are used as verbs as well, and they are used as nouns and as well. It depends upon what is written after them. So that will make it clear. If noun is written and they are describing like what kind of that thing, then they are working as an adjective there. No, not unsure. Devoid of. Right? Any other confusions, anybody? No, Kashrif, how can we put plural? It is. The major dash is. Can we say the major attributes is? Don't we need R in that case? Akash, did you just listen? I said for attributes, we need R. They say the major dash is. That means the major singular thing is. The major plural will be R. So always check the helping verb in the sentence before finalizing your answers. All right. Is it clear now? Question number 5 and 2.5 minutes. Good, very good with the first one. I was not expecting many of you to select on the rise, but very well done. Those who have selected advancing, see, advancing has a lot of meanings, like advancing means progressing, going ahead further. Advancing means becoming better. So it won't fit here because we'll not able to justify what it is. So we'll go with a more specific option, specifically when we have a better option here. So this says, as you drive down the highway, you may notice an increasing number of. So what was the context? They wanted to just highlight more and more. Increasing number of hybrid and electric vehicles. Alternative energy automobiles are dash contributing to the global effort to reduce carbon emissions. They wanted to say that they are more and more people are now taking those vehicles which are energy saving. So alternative energy automobiles are increasing. Upcoming means in the future they will come. Advancing, as I said, it can be moving ahead, moving further, progressing, becoming better. So rather we'll go with on the rise, because on the rise and increasing mean the same, but that's better way of saying increasing. On the rise means their graph is rising, more and more people are adapting or using them. So increasing would be with number, but here we wanted to say that alternative energy automobiles are on the rise, means they are in trend, contributing to the global effort to reduce carbon emissions. As we move together down this road, researchers are looking to determine new solutions to this problem. What kind of problem? Eternal, continuous, flourishing, ongoing. So this will be ongoing problem because we are in facing this right now. So it will be they are looking for solutions to this ongoing problem. Spark ignition engines are commonly used in dash small SUVs and sedans. Now here I was not expecting you to select a few. How and where did you get an idea that they did not want to say many places it is being used? A few or few will be used in a negative sense, that not many are using it, or some of them are using it. But the way they have explained, it was all positive about the context. So we'll go with various, that because see it is small SUVs and sedans, plural of the cars. So we won't say only a few are using them. Better to say they are commonly, and moreover commonly used in various of the vehicles are now commonly using it. Little and much cannot use with countable things, that's why that cannot be the answer. Various and a few can simply be thought of from the writing style. Does the author want to say that not many, just only limited, or they are generally saying that lot of now common use it is? So we will go with the positive word, which is various. See why these blanks contribute they are known as reading and writing blanks. I've said this a number of times. Reading and writing, because these blanks are based on how things are written, and how things are written has a very important aspect of perspective of writing. That why are you writing, what do you want to convey through the sentence, and based on that you select your words. That is why it has marks towards writing, that which words will go according to the sentence structure. Then they say the goal is that by adding hydrogen, the car dash more fuel efficient. The goal means something we have to achieve. Its goal is means is still the goal. So it will be the goal is that by adding hydrogen, the car will be more fuel efficient and produce less harmful emissions. The researchers also analyzed dash significant changes would be required to current spark ignition engines. So researchers also analyzed whether changes are required or whether changes will be required to these engines to account for the addition of hydrogen. If we want to add hydrogen, they'll analyze if more changes are required. So it will be whether changes will be required. Right? Any questions? Good, Raj. Very good. Any doubts, anyone? No, all good? All of you, all good? Keep noting down the things which are new. Please keep noting down. Noting down does not just mean noting down new words or noting down grammar rules, noting down the ways of thinking, noting down the things that we must check, that okay, I have to check is, are, was, were also. That was a new learning for many of you. I know that you don't check it. So new learning is whether we are talking about future, whether we are talking about past, and based on that, we have to select the answers. These kind of things you have to make notes. Otherwise, in the exam, you will still just try to understand the context and solve. 17. We still have one more question. Hina, wait. I'm giving you an opportunity to increase your scores. Last question for reading, writing blanks. 2.5 minutes for this. Too much overthinking in the first blank, like too much. They said our universe is expanding. How fast this expansion, and you're saying would happen. They just said it is happening and would happen. So it was our universe is expanding, but our two main ways to measure how fast this expansion is happening. It is happening right now. The sentence in the very beginning made it clear. Universe is expanding. How fast this expansion is happening have resulted in different answers. For the past decade, astrophysicists have been gradually dividing dash two groups, have been gradually dividing, we say, into groups. One that believes that the difference is significant, and another that thinks it could be dash in error, it could be dash errors in measurement. It could be because of due to errors. We don't have of, that's why we cannot say because of. As per, no, as per is used when you want to refer something, like as per the law. So you are referring to law, that's when we use as per the rules. So referring to something is when we use as per. So it will be due to errors. It could be result in errors in measurement. No, it because of errors. If it dash that errors are causing the mismatch, that would confirm our basic model of how the universe works. If it turns out, turns in, turns up, turns down, turns out. Turns out means if this thing is proved. Turns out means if this is the conclusion that comes out. Turns in is not a collocation, I don't know. Turns up, if your friend turns up on time. So comes. Turns down, she has turned down my offer. So let's say turns down means rejected. That is turns down. So if it turns out means if the conclusion, if the result comes out to be this, then it would confirm our basic model of how the universe works. The other possibility presents a thread that, when pulled, would suggest some fundamental missing new physics is needed to stitch it back together. For several years, dash new piece of evidence. One piece of evidence, what we have in the options will be each, because all the other three words will come with plural, pieces of evidence. We have one piece, so it will be each new piece of evidence. Right? I am not happy with the first answer. Very bad. Don't overthink, guys. It's okay to go with the context. It's the best thing to go with the context. When we use between two things, between this and that. So two things. Milan, is it 5 marks or is it fifth blank that you're confused in? So Kashif is asking why not several. Kashif, several means several pieces of evidence. Several comes with plural. Milanji, same for you. Several will come with plural. It says one piece of evidence. So it has to be each only. All means plural, several means plural, some also means plural. You divide in two camps, into. Divide into two groups is the right way, not divide in. Or dividing into, yeah. Between two camps is fine. No, between, okay, ask between two camps would be if I say, please divide the sweets between two groups. That will be between, means in them, to each of them. That is between. Here they are saying it is divided into. So there is one, some people think that this is important, others think it is not important. So this topic has divided people into two groups. That is what the writing style is. Okay. But Sonia, why do you have to go with has? Why are we not looking at this hint, which is even more clear, which is even more sooner we are getting it? The piece of information that we have can have something else also, you know, starting with has, which can refer to has and have. Look at the right next words written. New piece means one piece. This is right, like this way of thinking is right, that I should check has, have, or had. But Why are we missing the very next word, the easy one? But yes, a good thing to check till the last of the sentence. Okay, anything else about this question? All good. Okay, and we have the first reorder question on the screen. Only 2 minutes for this. Sometimes I feel you people become stubborn. Like, we will not look at the hints means we will not look at the hints. Do whatever you want. Is it? How many of you ignore also here? Do not lie to me. And how many of you kept this in mind that general sentence comes first and the explanation of that particular thing comes second? Growing season also varies. Means this is the second variation, second reason of variance. We need to find the first reason. What is the first reason it varies? Growing season also varies according to elevation above sea level, with higher elevations tending to have shorter growing seasons. Growing season also called frost-free season. So this is the introduction. What is growing season? Period of the year during which growing conditions for indigenous vegetation and cultivated crops are most favorable. So we have a definition. In equatorial and tropical regions, the growing season ordinarily lasts all year, whereas in higher latitudes, it may last just 2 months. So this is a comparison, 1 year and just 2 months. It usually becomes shorter as distance from the equator increases. So it becomes shorter, and then example, which area long and which area short. So it was B was the first one. You have the definition. Growing season, also called frost-free season, is something and something. It usually becomes shorter as distance from the equator increases. And they gave example. Equatorial and tropical regions, it lasts all year and then it becomes shorter to 2 months. It also varies, means this is one reason of variation. One reason of variation is the distance from the equator. Second reason of variation is elevation above sea level. It also varies according to elevation above sea level. General first. First, you'll say that it becomes shorter, and then you will say that which area and how much shorter it becomes. What is the range of that becoming shorter? Got it now? Any confusions? Any doubts, anybody? I'm not angry. You can ask if you have. Okay. Yes, Faraz. See, it's possible in a lot of questions. You can see that they are repeating the subject with a name without using with after using pronoun ones. So that's not any rule that they cannot use it again, or there is no such rule that if you have sentences with the name of the subject and you have sentences with pronouns, the name, the ones with pronouns will come after the sentences which you have the name. There's no rule like that. So you simply have to check other pieces of information, that again the same things: general sentence, more specific one, example one, also one, remains the same. There's no new additions to the things you have to keep in mind. So don't get confused with these. This is again like lots of thoughts come to your mind like this, but they are not important. You don't have your arrangement based on these kind of things. Okay, second question, and 2 minutes for this as well. So one pair a bit tricky. I cross-checked the answer though. The first two sentences were easy. So we'll read this at red giants are very large and luminous stars that always reach the same peak brightness before rapidly fading. So kind of um, definition that what are red giants? They are large and luminous stars, and it's a complete sentence. The first version of this calculation in 2019 used a single very nearby galaxy to calibrate the red giant stars' luminosities. So this calculation, maybe they have talked about a calculation. The key question is how accurate those measurements are, but we don't have a question mark with it. The key question is how accurate those measurements are. If scientists can accurately measure the actual or intrinsic peak brightness of the red giants, they can then measure the distances to their host galaxies, an essential but difficult part of the question. So here the first sentence was this: red giants are very large and luminous stars that always reach the same. So the kind of definition. Then they say if scientists can accurately measure, because we cannot say those measurements unless and until we talk that which measurements we are talking about, measuring the actual and intrinsic brightness. We need to measure how bright they are. So this is the topic of measurement. And then there was a direct reference of those measurements. The key question is how accurate those measurements, because it's exactly coming after when you explained which measurements you are talking about. And then after that came, because this is completely different, then they are starting that which year we first time did this and what was used in that. So it will be the first version of this calculation. This calculation can be the calculation of the measurements that we talked about, but because those measurements was very direct reference, so it came after D. And the first version of this calculation is coming at the end because it's starting a new topic as well. So that's why it will be very nearby galaxy to calibrate. But I found it confusing, C and B, so I accepted it. But it is this way, the answer. And the only reason I can understand for this is the reference, those measurements, and a new topic starting with. Otherwise, you could have said that this calculation can also come. The second thing, if we put this calculation, then we cannot again go back to those measurements because singular to plural is not possible. From plural, talking about one measurement, one calculation is possible. Because measurements, out of all the measurements, we can talk about one, the one which happened in 2019. But when you say one calculation, then we cannot say those measurements again. That can also be a reason. Right? Any confusions? Anyone? But A and D should have been together. We cannot put these measurements or this calculation before we actually talk about which calculation or measurement we are talking about. Okay, all good with this one? Thank you. And here we have the next question and the last one. We only have 3 reorders today. Some people will be very happy. 2 minutes for the last reorder. Very good question. See, there are questions sometimes in which they talk about two different things, but they talk about them in a very confusing way. This is one of them. Try to understand this. Now, this is based on the concept what is something, then where did it come from? So, first, we always say what is, and then the next explanation can be where did we get this thing from? Right? Obviously, what will come first, and from where it came will come next. This says the term digital economy was coined in 1995 in Dawn's 1995 bestseller, The Digital Economy, the name of something, promise and peril in the age of networked intelligence. Means this term digital economy came from this book. How do we know it's a book? The next sentence says the digital economy was among the first books to show how the internet would change the way we did business. So this is among the first books. So we are talking about name of a book here. This book was the source from where we got this name digital economy. Digital economy refers to an economy that is based on digital technologies. This is a definition of digital economy, that what is digital economy. Increasingly, the digital economy is intertwined with the traditional economy, making a clear delineation harder. Here, we talked about economy, not the book. Generally, economy means economy that is based on digital technologies. Digital technology is intertwined with the traditional economy. Here also, we are not talking about the book. We are talking about economy, the economy that we live in. The digital economy is also sometimes called the internet economy, the new economy, or web economy. Here also, we are not talking about the book. So there were two sentences which were talking about book, and there were three sentences which were talking about economy in general. The confusing part was the use of the word economy in two different ways. So because we will start with what is first, and then where it came from. So first we'll start with digital economy refers to an economy that is based on digital technologies. The digital technology is also called the internet economy because these are also the names. So they will be a part of introduction. Digital economy is this, it is also known by these names. And then what else do we have about that economy? Because we have to finish the topic before we move on to the other side of the economy or the other use of economy. So we finished that this is so related with traditional economy that we cannot make a distinguish out of them. And then out of the two sentences, where did we get this name from? This name actually came from a book, and then we talked something about the book ahead. So I really think it's an important question. It's a very good question. These kind of questions can be there in the exam. So make sure that you're able to segregate which sentences are related to one type of information, which sentences are related to the other type of information. Any questions, anyone? Any doubts? All good with all of you? Okay, great. Let's move on to reading blanks. Solve both 1 and 2, and I will be back in a few minutes. So please solve 1 and 2 together and we'll discuss them together. Yes, so the first one first. Floriculture, the branch of ornamental horticulture concerned dash growing and marketing flowers. So we generally say concerned with, and all of you are correct with putting with here. Concerned with growing and marketing flowers and ornamental plants and dash with flower arrangement. So it is that what is it concerned with? It is concerned with growing and marketing flowers and ornamental plants as well as with. So that's the second thing. And the word with made it clear that it is continuation of concerned with one thing and concerned with another thing. But we don't have and. So if we don't have and, we can go with as well as. That also means and only. Right. So it is concerned with this as well as with this. Because flowers and potted plants are largely produced in plant growing structures in temperate climates, floriculture is largely dash off as a greenhouse industry. So is largely, so with is, it should be third form of verb. How many third forms do we have? We have one is thought and we have considered. But with considered, we say considered as, we don't say considered of. So it can be is largely thought of go together. It is thought of as a greenhouse industry, though many flowers are cultivated outdoors in nurseries or crop fields. Both the production of bedding plants and the production of cuttings dash in greenhouses or for indoor use as house plants. So these will be production of cuttings to be grown in greenhouses, to be grown in greenhouses or for indoor use. So it's with indoor use or to be grown there as house plants are considered part of floriculture. The sentence is complete. Are considered part of floriculture. So we need ly here. How many lys do we have? We have only one. So we'll go with are usually considered part of floriculture. Right. Any confusions in the first one first? Though I could see good correct answers, but still any problem with the first one? Consider does not come with considered of, Fatima. It says we use considered as. As comes with considered, not of. Fourth one was completely based on context. The fourth one said both the production of this and this. Both the production of bedding plants and the production of cuttings dash in greenhouses or for indoor use. So they said that the production of one thing and the production of the other thing to be grown in, either you want to grow it in greenhouses or you want to use them indoors. So we don't have any other option that we can go with. Production of cuttings to be grown in greenhouses or for indoor use. The last one, the sentence is complete. So we went with ly, that house plants are considered a part of floriculture. So even if the blank is not there, the sentence is complete. So we should go with ly. House plants are usually considered part of floriculture. Yes, Faraz. So in the first one, to use with concerned is not any reason. It's a collocation. So it's like I said, thought and of go together. Concerned, what was it? Considered and of do not go together. Considered goes with as. So these are the words which go together. So based on that, it's considered as and concerned with, thought of. So these are the pairs that we use the words as. Okay. That's all for the first one. Anybody left to solve the second one by any chance? Okay, let's see. The project started in 1971 is one of the dash running studies of wild primates in the world. One of the, and with the, as we discussed in the previous blank, with the, it should be third form of verb. It is the longest running studies of wild pyramids in the world, focused on the Savannah baboon. The project is located in this ecosystem in East Africa. Research teams dash hundreds of baboons in several social groups dash the course of their entire lives. So research teams is plural. We have two options. Research teams have tracked or research teams had been tracked. So had been is passive voice. It will come when you want to say by. Research teams had been tracked by someone, means somebody else has done the work on the research teams. But that's not the case. It will be research teams have tracked thousands of baboons because the research teams have done the work. So they have tracked thousands, hundreds of baboons in several social groups, dash the course of their entire lives. So we generally say over the course of something, that these are also the words that go together. Over the course means because it will be number of years. So they want to say all those years. So over the years or over the course. Researchers currently dash around 300 animals but have accumulated life history. So currently means present tense, obviously. So it will be present form of verb. Researchers is plural. So we need a verb without S. So we have two options in present tense, one observes and one monitor. And as I said, observes cannot come with researchers because they are plural. So it will be monitor. They currently monitor around 300 animals but have accumulated life history information dash more than 1500 animals. So they have accumulated information on more than 300 animals or of 1500 animals. Not of, on. They have accumulated because accumulated will be they have put together. They have what else can be accumulated? They have any word for accumulated? Put together is something that, yeah, collected. They have collected information on these many animals, not of these many animals. So it will, because we collect information on things or about things. So that's how we'll say they have accumulated information on more than, means this much work they have done. On 1500 animals, they have already done the research and they have collected the information. So that's how they're writing, and that's why it will be accumulated information on 1500 animals. Okay, any problems? Thank you, Sonia. Any confusions, anybody? Okay, Faraz is the representative. Okay, question number 3 and 2 minutes for this. Thank you so much. These kind of questions are the ones which are called context based, because you have to see what the information is conveying, and based on that we select the answers. This says dash the Smithsonian Institution began collecting portraits in 1921. The National Gallery did not officially open dash 1962. This was, we had in capitals although and since. We have two parts in the sentence, and they are opposite. They are kind of saying that kind of opposite thing, that though the work started, but it did not officially open. So it will be, although the work started, they started collecting portraits in 1921, but it did not officially open until means till this time period. Since comes when you want to say because, or since comes when you want to say since this time. But that's not the case. They say although they started the work, but they did not open till 1962. That is until. In 1976, the gallery, which had long limited its acquisitions to oil paintings, or we can actually not read this part and say, in 1976, the gallery dashed its criteria and began to accept portraits in any media. So 1976 means we need a verb in past tense. How many past tense verbs do we have? Only one. So it is changed. The gallery changed its criteria and began to accept portraits in any media, including photography and sculpture. This policy change expanded the collection. The sentence is complete without the blank, and after the blank, we have a verb. So we should go with ly here, adverb. So what we have is greatly, only one. Yeah. So this change greatly expanded the collection. And then the gallery considers the historical dash of the subject of a portrait more important than the artistic merit. The gallery considers the historical dash. So we have a blank before of, so it should be a noun. How many nouns do we have? We have two, importance and significance. Significance is a better way of saying importance only, so we'll go with that. And then the gallery considers the historical importance of the subject of a portrait more important than the artistic merit of the portrait, and dash seeks. So this is a good point here. How you should read this last blank is the gallery, and here the gallery dash seeks the most accurate likeness possible. If the sentence is very long and they complete one part of information and then they start another part of information with a new verb, so you always put the same subject before that so that you understand what blank you need to fill. The gallery dash seeks the most accurate likeness possible. So the gallery always seeks, because the sentence is complete, the gallery seeks the most accurate likeness possible. So the gallery always works like this. Already is when you are talking about time, that I've already done this before you are saying. So it doesn't make sense here. The gallery considers this and this, and the gallery always seeks the most accurate thing possible. Right? Any questions, anybody? Greatly, because in the fourth blank, the sentence was complete. So we, and after the blank, it is verb. So we have to go with adverb, and greatly was fitting. They said that after changing the policy, it expanded. The expanded means something got better. So greatly expanded makes sense. It's ly, and also it matches with the context. Okay. Let's see ahead what we have. Question number 4. 2 minutes for this. What is it that is taking so long? Don't we use referred with to, Sonia? Don't we use consist with of? Change this. This is very popular. I have been hearing this more like last week. I did not select this word because I don't know the meaning. Is it a reason to eliminate something? I don't know the meaning, so I will not select that. Or even the opposite. I selected this because it was very difficult. Sometimes we do funny things as well. The term Near East was dash in the 19th century. So generally, when we talk about the term, where did we get the term from, at what time, or who made that term? So that word is coined. The term Near East was coined. So we always, with the word term, we say this term was coined by this person. This term was coined in this year. Always the word coined goes with term. When Westerners divided the Orient into three parts. So this is how we did the question today, divided with into, right? So they say they divided into three parts: the Near East, Middle East, and Far East. The Near East included, past form of verb, the Ottoman Empire and the Balkans. Dash the Middle East ranged, past form of verb. So we are making kind of a comparison. Near East included this, while will be the second one, while the Middle Near East included this, while the Middle East ranged between Persian Gulf and Southeast Asia. Quite a small region compared dash what we consider. Compared to or compared with is are the two words that we use with compared. So we have with, so we'll say compared with. The Far East. So you have talked about Near East, you have talked about Middle East. Now you are talking about Far East. And how did you talk about near and middle was? Simple past tense, simple past tense. So should follow simple past tense. The Far East encompassed Asian countries with the facing the Pacific Ocean. As Europe geared up for World War II, however, the term Middle East began to be used by the British military to refer to both regions. Middle East soon became the dash term. Kind of term, soon became the main term, soon became the dominant term. So because they said it was used by the British military to refer to both regions. So main and dominant both are fine, but dominant is more academic, so we'll go with that. Became the dominant term. Means more used term. Now, what was difficult in getting the fourth answer? Referred comes with referred to, or referred as. Akash, can you fit apart from there? The Far East apart from Asian countries facing the Pacific Ocean, full stop. Without helping verb, can we fill the sentence? It's always, wherever, learn this lesson. Wherever you're getting stuck in the exam means you have missed a hint. And the action required at that point of time is, do not use your brains, use your eyes more. Then where have you missed the hint, and follow that. Okay. Coined, Bhupendra, means whenever we use the word term, we always use the verb coined with it. So term was coined by means made by. The term was coined in 1991 means it came into effect, or it was first used in this. So coined means made basically, but it's used with term. Encompassed can be included, or what was it made of? That is encompassed. So Vishal, what do you want me to repeat? Which blank number? Sorry. The first one is with term, we always use coined. Second is we are making a kind of comparison. The Near East included this, while the Near West included that. And compared comes with compared to or compared with. We had with. Far East, because the previous two explanations were in simple past, so we should also go with simple past. And last, dominant term, main and dominant mean the same. We should go with more academic one. Please encompass, like we can say, this process encompasses 5 stages, includes in it, that is encompass. Oh, not blanks. So when you get stuck somewhere, that means you have missed a hint. So please open your eyes and find where have you missed the hint was what I said. So it's generally like when you get too much into the context, you focus more on it's a difficult word, I don't know the meaning, or when you focus more on I'm not understanding, those things are not important. The important things are where is the hint that I have missed, because of which now I am not understanding what to do, because the hints are always there, right? Shall we go ahead now? Question number 5. 2 minutes. One mistake, but all rest is fine. So good. Interestingly, really smart people also fail to self assess their abilities. The sentence was complete. Self-assess is an action, a verb. So we need adverb here. They fail to exactly assess or accurately assess. So that's accurately means they are unable to accurately means correctly assess how much able they are or their abilities, like how good or bad they are, generally how good they are at certain things. As much as D and F grade students overestimate their abilities, A grade students underestimate their abilities. In their classic study, 1 and 2 people found, past tense, that high performing students dash cognitive scores were in the top quartile. So students, human beings, for human beings we use whose. So students whose scores were in the top quartile, they underestimated their competence. Means they did not appreciate themselves. They thought that they were not good, undermine or underestimate. These students dash that if their cognitive tasks were easy for them. So this is a past story going on. So we'll go with past form of verb. These students observed or presumed. So it will be presumed because there is nothing that can be seen in the context. So these students presumed that if their tasks were easy for them, then they dash be easy for others also. So now it makes more sense. These students presume means they assume that if it is easy for me, it must be easy for some the other people also, not would be. Would be means it is going to be. But they are saying that if I am finding it easy, other one must also be finding it easy. So they don't realize that they have good capability, good ability. That is why they are finding it easy. They think that they are not so intelligent. So that was based on context. So they assume that if they are finding it easy, others must also be finding it easy. Then they say this so-called imposter syndrome can be linked to the universe of effect, whereby high achievers fail to recognize their talents and think that others are equally competent. So it was completely based on context, not grammar here. That they don't realize that how intelligent they are. They think that everybody is intelligent, so if it is easy for me, it is easy for others also. Any confusions, anyone? Have to get rid of overthinking for us. It does not work for anybody. A lot of students are there who always say that I selected this and then I changed, I selected and then I changed. Overthinking. Kamalveer is also one of them. Please don't do this in the exam. First one, first one, the sentence was complete and you have a verb written after. So we should go for an adverb. And we had two adverbs, exactly assess or accurately assess. So exact is more about 100%. Assess their ability. So we'll go with accurately because how correctly you are able, who you are assessing yourself, or you are wrong in assessing yourself. So it was not about 100% or 90%. It's about right or wrong assessment. Okay. And the last question for today is this. That's okay, Anisha. No problem. Take care. Good night. And question number 6, the last one, please solve in 2 minutes. Very good. This says muscles make an excellent vaccine administration site because muscle tissue dash important immune cells. So muscle tissue is singular. We need a verb with S, and we had two, three. Creates, includes, four, contains, stimulates. So tissue dash immune cells. So tissue contains the immune cells because tissue cannot create, contains because it has in it, contains important immune cells. These immune cells recognize the antigen, a tiny piece of a virus or bacteria introduced by the vaccine that dash an immune system. Vaccine is singular, so again a verb with S. Vaccine stimulates an immune response. In the case of the COVID-19 vaccine, it is not introducing an antigen, but administering the blueprint. So not doing this, instead doing this. So when you have this kind of sentence, but and rather come together, but rather the other thing. So but rather when you have not doing one thing, but rather the other thing. So it is but rather in that case. The immune cells in the muscle tissue pick up dash antigens, so it will be these antigens we just talked about, and present them to the lymph nodes, injecting the vaccine dash muscle tissue. So injecting, the preposition that we use is into. So like injection is into the veins, that way it is injecting the vaccine into the muscle. Right? Any confusions? Anyone? Good, very good attempt. All correct answers. Very good. So these were all the questions that we had to do today. Thank you so much for joining the class. We do not have class from tomorrow till Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll see you again on Monday. Please keep practicing. Also will be when you are doing the first thing and also doing the second, but they are not doing the first one. Gosh, they said not doing this. How can you say also doing the other thing when the first is not being done? Thank you, Saida. Happy weekend to you too. Good night, guys. Take care. No worries. I will see you again on Monday. Good night. Take care. Happy weekend.